I am really looking forward to interviewing my next special guest who actually interviewed me recently, Mafae Belasco, mom of six. Yes, listen to that, six. Founded Mafae Management Consultancy in 2015, whose mission is, I love her mission, to serve companies and individuals globally with headquarters in the Philippines and regional offices in America and Australia. Look at what her mission is, or just what her company handles. I just can't wait to ask her questions. But Mafehat does podcasts, right? Her company does logo creations, online show productions, and that's not it. Personality development workshops, social media management, photography, videography, and more. Her In Love with Me series podcast, you have to check it out. It's just real and just raw, and the topics that you cover, I think everyone, whether male or female, can relate because you just really get real with your guests who end up sharing. I know I end up sharing way more than I expected to. So tell us, how do you manage your life? I mean, just day to day with it's hard even with one or two, but when you have six of all ages, I think you could probably share, or I would love to hear you share about how you actually involve your family in your
Yeah.
business.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Karen, for having me. Our last conversation together when you were on my podcast, I felt like it was really cut short. So I'm grateful that we can continue conversation. But just to share a little bit about, I guess, the beginning, right? I feel as though I've always had the natural motherly instinct because I love to take care of my cousins when they were little babies. I would be the first to want to learn how to change the diaper or, how to put them to sleep. And it gave me a lot of joy knowing that I can take care of others, whether they are family, whether they are, just even my parents or my grandma. Uh, it was something that I wanted to pursue in life. And I think that was my purpose all along. I have two younger brothers now, though my youngest brother, we're 19 years apart, so he was like a menopause baby. So it was really my brother Emmanuel, who him and I grew up together, and I protected him like he was no one's allowed to touch you. And I think my first experience of him being bullied, I was right there, like, don't you dare touch him. If you do, you're gonna hear from me and things like that. And so I've carried that on up until now. And like I said, like I shared with you, I find a lot of joy just putting others before me. But past couple of years, I did learn how to get smarter and put my needs also as a priority, because there's no point of me wanting to help the world and you share like globally when I'm not okay. And I'm also human. I'm a woman. We've got all these emotions that just comes unexpectedly, and of course my children. So again, like just to give a recap, I became a mom as young as 24, a mother of three already. So why? I did represent the Philippines back in 2003 when I was 22, and I met my amazing husband, who I've been married for almost 18, well, actually 18 years. We just celebrated February 5, 2023. And I'm a proud bonus mom. So what does that mean? It's a more positive, I guess, name to a stepmom. So Nico and Mike, my eldest, who are 23 and about to be 21, they really taught me how to mature very quickly as a woman, as a mom. And then, of course, Moses came along, you know, um, in 2005, 2 weeks after my husband and I got married. So he's figuring it out now. He's about to turn 18. It's like, what? How did that happen? But for me, my life and my story, I could not trade for anything else because it's made me who I am. It's made me the strong individual, or even not strong individual, because I know there are limitations as a person, as an individual. So through that first part in my 20s, understanding how important it is to really take care of others, like my two older stepsons or my amazing sons who I did not give birth, but it felt like I did, and just seeing how they've grown up as young men who lead the family with me and my husband, it's just brought so much joy. So the difficult challenge right now is letting go of them. And I think that's something that we spoke about, having them go to college or having them have girlfriends. It's like, ooh, how to balance that. But I keep myself busy, and my plate's already full, but it's more so I learned the other day from actually Dr. Vanessa, your co-author,
Hmm.
it's balancing your energy, not necessarily balancing your time. It's balancing your energy and who to give it to or how much you give it to yourself, right? So I know you had many questions.
Definitely. Well, no, that was the answer to, I mean, just balancing your energy, not your time, because
Yeah.
sometimes we do feel that
Hmm.
we lack time, but if you're conscious of how your energy, so how do you balance your energy when you feel like scattered, or when we have moments where we don't know how to let go, or we don't
Right.
know how to navigate what's in front of us?
Well, I've always been emotional, but I tend to keep it to myself. But I learned during, especially the pandemic, when I enhanced my life coaching skills with my amazing life coach, Kimmy Lou. Shout out to you. I did sacred space. So I'm a sacred space holder certified. And I learned that crying is an amazing form of healing too.
I
So
believe that.
I cry. And that's why I shared with you it's timely because I cried so much yesterday. I couldn't understand why, but I think I was holding so much in just this time, this chapter of my life, my family's life, we're transitioning back to the US from the Philippines. So there's a lot of changes, of course. There's a lot of different routine. There's a lot of alone time, and there's a lot of thinking. So I really make sure that I understand my thoughts. I understand why I'm feeling that way. And it's always a lesson what we're feeling, what we're experiencing. And I reach out. Like I'm very close to my kids. I'm very close to my husband. I put my hand up. I submit when I know I'm tired, when I need support. And I think that's something that a lot of women or even a lot of individuals are afraid to do. But you know what? You're actually stronger when you do that because no one's going to know what you're going through if you don't ask for help or if you don't vent. You know, I'm a listener, but it's okay. There's so many other listeners that can attend to me and to
Hmm.
strong individuals that feel like they don't need anyone. But no, we all need support. We all need that tribe or even just that one person that gets you. Like you nodding your head. I'm feeling so much joy just with you being here in
Because I
front of
can
me like that.
totally relate. And I love what you
So
said,
yes.
understanding your thoughts. Because don't you think if we believe our thoughts and we don't understand our thoughts, then we literally feel like something's wrong with us? Like, wait a minute, why am I thinking that?
Mhm.
Because sometimes I think when I'm very emotional too, and I would have strong feelings of even like hatred or anger followed by guilt and
Mhm.
then not knowing, right? Especially as a mother, when you feel anger towards family, but if you realize, wait a minute, where is it coming?
Exactly.
It
And
offers how does that help?
yeah. So I was very intentional of understanding energy and just meditation and of course understanding other people's shoes, which I felt I had naturally by, the need of helping others or taking
Hmm.
care of others. But when I enhanced it, I was like, wow, I need to step back sometimes. I shouldn't be a reactive person when somebody says something to me. Just breathe for a second, just analyze why they reacted that way. Because when you battle, no one's winning. Really, no one's winning when you battle. And yeah, marriage
So
is
then
like
becomes
that.
a power struggle, right?
Right. That was early stages of our marriage. I felt like I was a strong woman. Hey, I wear the pants too. But at the end of the day, us women guys, and my husband knows I say this all the time, we do wear the pants, but we have to allow our man to be a man. You know? When
Is
you
that
try to
hard
tell him to
sometimes?
be,
Yeah, that is so
I
hard
know
because
it's hard, but when you know that formula, it's peaceful, you
it
know?
is. Yeah, it
And
took me,
then,
well, I've been married, well, we've been together for 28 years, and I think only the last 3 years, I just think, oh, I guess I have to
uh-huh,
choose peace
yeah,
rather than, that like, right, if you
flip the
just
coin.
do it this way, yeah, then, things will move smoothly, but that's not how it works.
Exactly. So I learned how to, I think, understand my relationships. And then when a stranger does approach me or I get to know them, I also understand where the limitations of oversharing or even, their boundaries. So from the beginning already, I can understand the energy of another person, which I think it's helped me become a better mother, become a better wife, because those are and of course, my parents know I'm a good girl. So I've always respected my parents. And so even being a better sister, because, we're so LDR, like we're so far away from each other because they're in Australia. And I've lived in the Philippines too for so many years. So I've intentionally made sure that I check in on them. I have to be the one to initiate, right? So when that habit comes in, it's like a domino effect. They also reach out and see how I am. So, instead of wondering how come they haven't texted me or called me, well, because it has to start with you. Your energy has to attract others, and I know it's difficult at times to keep it positive, but it's okay to also vent out to them because that's when they will see, oh, she needs me too, you know. And sometimes that importance that you give
Hmm.
others gives them such confidence, you
I love
know,
that.
and especially if they're your loved ones,
Hmm.
because my family dynamic, the path that I chose, put me in front of the camera. People knew who I am. So my younger brother, people knew him as Mafae's brother. So he was like always would vent to my husband. Sorry, no, I was saying that, but we're very close. And for me, I felt bad about that because my family is my family. I'm who I am, and I want everybody to be known as who they are. And that's the reason why I also built my company so that I can be behind the scenes and cheering everybody on, and knowing that their value is also very important in this world.
Wow. Yeah. So that I hear that a lot because I have also a good friend and he was known as her brother, you know. Do I have an identity? And you wonder, right? Then
Yes.
so so do you think it's really important though to actually not only engage but validate? Do you find yourself like validating making sure that the people in your life like know, because it
Yes.
sounds like you reach out, you initiate interaction. So I would like to know the importance of, you said venting. So do you
Mhm.
think, like you said, venting negatively to loved ones, what is the value of that? Because instead of holding it in, and then
Right.
all of a sudden, right, the explosion happens, what's the value of venting?
Well, if you hold it in, obviously there's no value there because you're only hurting yourself, right? The biggest, I think, enemy that we are not putting importance is stress. When you
Mm.
stress yourself out, nobody else knows that because you're creating it, right? It's your thoughts. When you speak it out, of course you try to be positive, but when you're able to let things out and you have this individual or a couple of people that you trust, that that will just listen and not add on, because you have those different kind of friends, right, or different kind of family members that if you vent, all of a sudden they're also going to be like rallying you on, right?
Or
So,
fixing it, trying to fix it.
well, no, there's ones that will say you're right, you're right, you're right.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know what
that
I mean?
person is evil. And they'll
And so you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that kind of encouragement, right? You want those people that are okay. Let it out. It's okay.
yes.
You feel better now? You know, you want those people that would ask you, why were you feeling that way? Was this even, is this person even thinking about like you, or are you creating those thoughts in your mind?
Ooh.
You want those kind of people. And again, that's what I've also learned when I kept being hungry of wanting to understand me, which
Hmm.
is again, and the bonus was becoming a life coach or a personality development coach. But really, I was learning the techniques so I can use those tools for myself. Because when I
Powerful.
exceed it or when I ooze it out to my family, of course, my children are going to look at me like, okay, she's not happy right now. I don't want them to feel like they cannot approach me at any time, because my children are my life. My husband is my life. My parents, my brothers. So it's going to be my responsibility to show them that regardless of my moods, you can come to me, and I
That
want
is the
them.
secret. Sorry, that is the secret to effective parenting, I think, because when children start to lie or they don't feel comfortable sharing, then you know that it's not them, it's us not providing a safe place.
Yes. Yes, so true. So true. So yes, I just want to make sure that if they are going through something and they see me going through something, that they can just be like, "Hey, mom, I actually need you right now. Are you good? Like, I have to talk to you." So I want that, and that's why I really invest in myself. I really make sure that I surround myself with good vibrations, and also know when, okay, hey guys, it's your turn to wash the dishes because I cannot right now. Like I've been doing it every single second of the day. Like, I'm just that type of person that I'll let you know my feelings. And most especially for my family, because I want them to be the same. I want you to let
Yes.
me know. Because silence is scary. That's why I always encourage especially my oldest sons, because they're more, they're respectful, but they weren't as their outbursts aren't like the children I gave birth to. Like they would tell you, hey, I need
They feel
this.
comfortable telling
Yeah.
exactly how they feel.
So I kept encouraging them, hey, you need to say how you feel. You need to say what you need, because there are no magicians or psychics that are going to understand your mind, not unless you're in front of them, but obviously we're not. So for me to help you, you need to share what's going on. What do you need? And it's just simple things like, oh, you need a new pencil? Like, yeah, let's go. Let's go get you new pencils so that you can continue your schoolwork. You know, I can't be always hovering you guys. And I would tell them this too. Um, I don't like to say busy, but I said, I've got all these plans. But if you need something, let me know because I'm always going to move. I'm going to
Hmm. Hmm.
adjust my schedule for you. you know and same goes with anyone important in your life, and including yourself. And that's why Google Calendar is my best friend, because I purposely block off my time, my children's time, family time, because those are the things that fill your cup or fill your joy. And if you're not feeling happy, like, your work is going to become like you'll dread it. You
Yes.
don't want to do it. And it's hard to live a life like that. It's hard to just check in, like clock in and clock out. It's very challenging to be a business owner, but that's the life I chose because I wanted to spend time with my family.
Well, the
You know,
flexibility is worth it, right? But see, don't you think like, yeah, resentment and exhaustion will just keep rising if you don't do that, because a lot of mothers are like, I don't have time. I have to do
yes,
like everything because I remember one mom told me, it was over 10 years ago, the house will literally fall apart if I don't make sure everything is done. So I don't even have time. I don't even have time for me. And I think recently, maybe it's just recently where mothers are realizing, hey, if we don't take care of ourselves,
right.
I always say it's not an empty cup, it's a broken cup. You can't even fill it up at the point where you don't even know how or you don't think you should. So what do you think is how do we force ourselves to realize, the importance of just self-care?
Well, just acknowledging that, hey, the dishes are going to be there, regardless you do it now or do it later. You can simply just step outside and breathe the fresh air, take a like a 2-minute walk, or just pretty much close your eyes for like 5 minutes, and children don't break. Not that I've experimented, but they will
And she knows, guys, she knows with six kids,
they'll
you
be
know.
there, If they need something now, you can simply just say, hey, mommy just needs to breathe, you know. Maybe during that breathing, hug them. And I feel as though, and this is also learning through motherhood, is when your child is wanting your attention, it's a higher universe telling you something. Just
Oh,
stop
I
what
like
you're doing.
that.
Yeah, so just stop what you're doing. Just give attention to this child, because this child was a blessing to you. So many other families and women out there want to have just one child, and you're not even paying attention to the one that you have.
Hmm.
That's the thing I started telling myself, because I was go 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 go, and I would like, of course, I would get annoyed like if they need something, and I'm just like, can't you see I'm busy? But it's the other way around, you know. Like right now, like I showed you earlier, like my
Yeah,
son,
she has your little one.
but I made sure that I communicate with him.
Yes.
I would tell him, hey, mommy's gonna go in a live. I'm gonna have an interview. Here's your food. Here's your tablet. Just keep it on low. And when I'm done, I'm gonna feed you more. I give him explanation. And I think that's something that I've learned through, again, motherhood. Because just seeing how my children were. And yes, I was a tiger mom at once, and it didn't do good because I felt bad. And my children are so respectful. So I'm just like, just give them love. At the end of the day, whatever you're doing will be done, will be completed. It doesn't have to be, the chores doesn't have to be a 9 to 5,
Hmm.
because sometimes your 9 to 5 your soul needs it. You need to feed food there, whether it's just read your favorite book.
Hmm.
For me, I love to, like right now, especially when I'm working, is the background music jazz.
Oh,
And I've noticed, how music, it really helps sense the sensory and just
yes.
your energy, the calm. And when I play that and everybody hears it, everybody's calm. But of course, I guess it's very important what you listen to, what you watch, what you read, because those are the food
Hmm.
for the soul. And that's where I found at peace. And I've been listening to a lot of other podcasters too. And it's just like, wow, I'm doing two things at once, and my son's also listening with me, and I see his energy also become. But if we're watching something like a movie that's like intense, it's
That energy, yeah, you
right.
do through like osmosis even get that energy, and then you can see it in the reactions of your kids watching it, right? They might like it, but it's just very, yeah, I think you and I have that emotional thing where, oh, this is a bit too violent, and it could be like a kids movie. But I said, even if it's a kids movie, some of these are just intense, you know?
Well, that's when you have to really be intentional and the research. Like for me, I make sure, like if ever my kids watch YouTube, it's on the parental. Like it takes a while, but it's worth it.
Right.
Because the online space is very dangerous if you look at it that aspect. But if you're an intentional parent on guiding that and overlooking and watching whatever they're viewing together, then you can share, oh, that's great, you should watch more of this. And my son the other day would tell me, oh, I watched this certain show now, because I introduced it to my 3-year-old. The 7-year-old said, I'm watching that too now, mom, because it teaches us animals and traveling. And I'm like,
Wow. Well, it's
so I'm like,
amazing because
yeah.
even the Disney channels, some of the movies you realize, wait a minute, this is Disney, when it's dark, but it does provide a topic of conversation. And like you said, that connection, because then you get to talk about, like you said, the thoughts and what do you think about, when this happens
Well, we
or,
did that during homeschooling. The
oh,
sometimes that would be their assignment. We'll watch a family movie, and after that, I would have them share a report of what they learned.
I love that.
Yeah, so that was something that was fun because they look forward to watching movies together, and then after we'll have like a a long conversation. I was like, "Wow, this is crazy. How come I didn't homeschool when I was young?" You know?
When it's insightful and fun, anytime learning has, some kind of fun in it, you can't go wrong because then you have education and then entertainment and then you actually learn, and then you recall it better, don't you think?
Yes, exactly. It's all about just communicating it. And I think that's what we learned also in homeschooling is that not having an actual grade, but understanding the equation or the question so that you can repeat back to me what you learned. Like, how did you get that? Because I
Oh,
would
I
tell them,
wish, I wish schools would incorporate that. Oh my gosh, because there's so much stress. Even
yeah,
with 6 year olds, they see a low grade and they
yes,
define themselves with that grade.
right.
Yeah, you
And
and I need to do that. It's like some kind
well,
of
it's a transition I'm having now, like with my children. So when I see their grades, I said, "Oh, that's great. Keep going." And then if one is not doing so well in one, well, you know what to do, right? Well, what did we do before? Just keep understanding it. Talk to me about it. What don't you understand here? You know, because I know it's a different environment for them.
Mhm.
I said, but you have to vocalize. Ask the teacher. And if she doesn't understand, just come home and then we'll figure it out. You know.
Wow, that is so different than what are you going to do to raise it up? 4 points. Why weren't you focusing in class? I mean, I was reading about that. When you say focus, Mafae, can you just focus?
Mm.
The studies show that that makes someone nervous. That does not do well. It's like, can you just calm down? And you're feeling all
Because it's like, well, the tone or in the
the
volume.
tone. Yeah, can you just
And I'm
calm
like,
down? Why are you crying? Are you? And you just think, do you ever see that in the stores? And then you
oh, I
you don't
felt like
you don't
even
even
that
know
when
the
I do that.
family.
And I'm like,
Well, you're not even, what Chelsea and I did. We looked at this and we're like, oh, just deep breathe. It's okay. And it's not even our family, but you immediately go into that child soul and you just think, but it's normal. It's normal because, like you said, we're all emotional beings. But so last question, if you are having a meltdown and you don't have time to go out for 2 minutes, what is the one thing we can implement today, the next time? Because most of us will have some kind of stress today. What's like a
yes,
quick thing we can do that you've done?
3 deep breaths.
You and
You
I
know,
have the
that,
same.
that's something that I learned, and I've added it to my daily on the daily, and it doesn't even have to be when I'm having a meltdown. It's also when I'm like celebrating a win.
Ooh,
You know, because when you create that habit, because sometimes people forget to breathe, if you don't think about it. And
definitely.
lately, my daughter's been talking about like breathing, and with her, she has an anxiety where, like, oh my gosh, my breath, like, oh. So I have to remind her, no, the breath is a blessing,
Yes.
because when you're a teenage, I know I had a fear of dying when I was young. So I know there's so many thoughts going on in my children right now in different stages. So if I practice what I preach and also have them share with me their thoughts, then I would always like think back. Yeah, I went through that too. When you're being compassionate to certain situations and understanding why they're feeling that way, and then you just say, hey, let's breathe together. you know Actually, I teach my 3-year-old when I'm like, okay, enough of the mom. I get it, I'm mom. You don't have to say it 10 million times. Just breathe like this. And and then he's like, and he starts smiling, so I start smiling, and it just brings us back to the present,
I think
but
there's so much power. It's underestimated. I introduced this to a 5 year old and then he was getting frustrated. I said, do you want to do three? And he goes, can I do 10? Sure. Why not? And it's almost a gift to us because I thought, okay.
yeah.
Because immediately I think, oh my gosh, do I have time? Is he going to finish his work? And I thought, like, I love that. Your soul is telling you something. So let's tell everyone that as a reminder if you're being interrupted, because that's a good one. And my daughter watches my parenting tips. Well, I have to finish this. So do you remember what you said earlier though?
That's so funny. Well, at least she's listening to you. I think she's being
And
inspired.
sometimes I think, which one is it? Today's one. You don't remember what you did today? And I think I did a old one, and it said have an adventure with your
Mhm.
child. So she said, was the Walmart outing your adventure? And I said, yes, it was. So I told you. So you know what I'm thinking of? Yes, I am. And it was me in a car. It was one of those um what is it? I forgot what it's called. Snapchat. She goes, you were in the
Mhm.
car, right? Just like we were in the car. This child is 20, and it really reminds me it doesn't matter what age you are. You want to feel heard, understood, not judged. And oh my gosh, we have to have another conversation
I
later. I
know.
just I just really feel we just met. We just met just recently, and I feel this connection. But like you said, I think some people were meant to be part of your tribe, and you just randomly meet them without even, I didn't even know you. I mean, I saw you and I loved your message. And we have a
You.
mutual friend, Deslin, who said, you need to
Yes.
connect with you. And so I'm
But
so,
just one thing I want to share with everybody, and it's in line with what you're sharing right now, is that I also learned this from my life coach, and I share it with everybody. And when you know the
yes.
power of this, then you get it, right? So always know that you are in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Oh, I love that. I've been reminding myself that too. When something like you think is horrible, you just
Mhm.
think, wait a minute, this is supposed to happen. Just that alone, this is
Mhm.
supposed to happen. This car was supposed to cut me off.
Yes,
Till a
because it
child,
might be
yeah.
saving you for something else.
You don't know. And a child, maybe the bad grade is to teach them that, oh, it doesn't define their worth. You're supposed to have gotten that bad grade. That's a hard one though.
Yes, it
You're
is.
supposed to fail. You're supposed to, but oh, thank you so much. This is so much fun. And I look forward to many more conversations. And I just appreciate, I know you're really busy, so I really appreciate the time that you've
Thank
invested.
you, Karen. I
Okay,
appreciate you
take
so much.
care. Okay,
Thank you.
bye.